Is Sweetgreen a franchise? And can you buy a Sweetgreen franchise? We're going to go through that today. But first off, what is Sweetgreen? Sweetgreen is a healthy food concept that started in Georgetown, in Washington, D.C. My brother's alma mater. I grew up right outside the campus. And they started in 2007 with 3 Georgetown students that weren't happy with the options that they had. Typical entrepreneurs where they weren't happy with the options and they created a business around that. So the food options in Georgetown at the time, especially for a student, were either slow, expensive, they weren't fresh, it wasn't fast, and there were a lot of unhealthy options. So for Sweetgreens, it's about being fast, healthy, sourcing locally. I'm super pumped by the location. They opened 10-minute walk from our office in Miami Beach. And it's anything from fresh bowls, salads. They have all different types of meals that are prepared with only the freshest ingredients. So there's a lot of restaurants that promote themselves as being healthy. As you might remember in the 90s, even the 2000s, Subway was promoted as a healthy alternative in the fast food space. And Subway is just selling a bunch of processed meats on a baguette. I mean, there's nothing really healthy about that much processed meat and processed food for your lunch. So there are other businesses that Sweetgreen competes with that are marketed as healthy, but you've got to do your due diligence, whether you're an investor or a consumer, and really understand who's selling organic products. If it's not organic, why isn't it organic? How processed is the food? We estimate if you want to start a Sweetgreen, it would be about $2 million to open up a location. And we got some of this information from their recent financial disclosures before they IPO'd. And unfortunately, Sweetgreen is not a franchise in 2022. So you can't open a Sweetgreen. All of the locations are corporately owned and operated, unlike some healthy fast food concepts like Freshii or Playa Bowls, where you can invest and open up a Playa Bowls, a Freshii, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, those different brands that are marketed as healthy fast food. A big reason Sweetgreen chooses not to franchise is they really want to have pretty much total control over their operations and very tight control over their supply chain. Some franchise networks, especially once they hit a certain size, the supply might be more through a co-op like Subway had with their franchisees, and the franchisor is not as strict in terms of what products are being served to the customers, where they're sourcing them, etc. So Sweetgreen's chosen not to franchise. You can't buy a Sweetgreen in 2022, and they've grown to over 140 locations throughout the United States, mostly on the East Coast, New York, Boston, Washington, D.C., Los Angeles too, though, where they moved their headquarters from D.C. to L.A., and biggest concentration is in New York, and that's contributed about a third of their revenue over the last few years, is just restaurants in the New York location, in the New York area for Sweetgreen. They haven't made money yet, Sweetgreen. They've lost hundreds of millions of dollars in an effort to continue to grow their business, and their investors stand behind them. From 2014 to 2020, they added over 100 locations, growing from 29 locations all the way up to 140 locations at the end of 2021. They continue to increase their revenues year over year, which is great. However, the high operational costs of running those businesses continues to hit their bottom line and contributing to that net loss at the company level. I hope you found this video of Sweetgreen informative. I'm sorry you can't buy a Sweetgreen. Even if you could invest and open a Sweetgreen, you need $2 million in cash. If there's businesses that you'd like to invest in for $50,000, $100,000, $200,000, I'd recommend you check out our directory at vettedbiz.com, and you can explore across 2,000 franchises and 3,000 plus businesses for sale on our site. Thanks.